Welcome to another Logres RPG tutorial. This tutorial will be covering Sixth Sense, how to unlock it, where to get medals, how to use it. So first, in order to unlock Sixth Sense, you have to finish the Chapter 8 scenario quest on the Logres continent. It is called the Sealed Goddess. As you can see, I have finished it. I've got clear stamps on all of them. Once you finish that, you will unlock a special quest, and unfortunately you will not see it here because I've already completed it, and it says Sixth Sense across the top. Completing that quest, and I believe it's a talking quest, will allow you to go to Rushmere, which I believe everybody agrees is the best place to grind out your levels. Now, once you unlock it, you'll see the mobs will start dropping medals. The best place to get medals, in my opinion, or as far as I know, is to do the Special Exploration Hunter quest on Logres for the red medals. Each of these quests is area dependent. The more of the scenario quests you do, the more areas you will unlock. Each of these is a timed quest. There's no specific goal set in mind. You just go in and kill as many mobs as you can, get as much loot as you can before the time is up. To complete the quest, you have to talk to the support guard on the map. As far as I know, if you fail the quest, you still keep all of your loot, all of the medals that will drop, but I don't see why you shouldn't go ahead and complete the quest and keep going through the exploration screens. Similar in Rushmere, there are also hunter quests, or you can do what I do and go all the way to the very first chapter, the Rushmere portal. In Rushmere, the goal for that one is to access a warp crystal, so if you don't go anywhere near the warp crystal, you don't have to worry about accidentally ending your quest and getting sent home early. Now, once you get medals, this is how you equip it. Go to Equipment Upgrade, and you'll notice there's a 6th square underneath your 5 weapon slots, and there's a little gauge next to it. To equip a medal, you select that square, which will normally be blank, like that, and they'll bring you to this screen. Here are the red medals that drop from Logres monsters, and also some of them are what are called memory medals, which you get from selling some of your equipment. So in this case, I sold a couple of, I think they were rare or super rare, maces or staffs. I don't use any classes that use a mace or a staff, so I didn't need them. I sold them, and that gave me a couple of memory medals. Obviously, I haven't sold that many yet. Rushmere Continent, these are dropped by the regular mobs in Rushmere. Monster medals, these are dropped by special mobs, and they're a gold color or a yellow color. This guy, for example, is the decaying Rushmere Mandra that you find in the opening area or entrance area of Rushmere. Then you have event medals. This guy, the Clan Mandra, is a unity medal that you get for completing missions in your clan board. And then of course you have event medals like the Attack on Titan collaboration event that's going on right now, where you get medals both by completing the quests and you can also trade in event points for them. Now, a few important things to keep in mind when you're trying to equip these. In order to use a 6th sense, you must have 10 medals. So for my monster medals, you'll see my Golden Pharaoh, I only have 2 medals. You'll notice in the 1 o'clock position on this dial that it's got a number 10 and it says can use skill underneath it. That means I need 10 medals before I can even use it. Once I have those 10 though, I get to use this skill, which costs 1 EP, and it will make it so that damage done to me is very minimal damage. My flower cactus, I have 57 of those, so you see I filled in the first 5 of these little power gauges. First 10 is to use it, and then at 20 and 40 I've added 1 usage. That means 1 more time I can use this in battle. And you'll also notice that if I'm playing as a bishop, I get bonus EP recovery. For my Rushmere Mandra, I've got all 100 medals, so not only can I use it the most times now, but also if I were playing a fighter class it would give me bonus EP recovery, and you'll notice that in the very last slot it says monster ability up. This particular medal will heal me in battle, and so it will heal me for more. And you'll also notice that each of these medals gives a stat bonus, and that's important especially when you're starting out, because that means even if you don't have 10 of any medal yet, even if you just equip it, it'll give you a small power boost. As you get more medals, not only do you have to look at what does the medal even do for you, does it heal you, does it increase your damage, does it do damage by itself, but you also have to look at what kind of bonuses it gives you. For example, this one gives me bonus magic defense and agility, but this one only gives me physical and magic defense. The flower cactus heals the entire group that you're fighting with. The Rushmere mantra only heals yourself. So they have some different things that depend on your class and also how many medals you have. Another thing to keep in mind is using a sixth sense will never use up your medals. So for my mantra here, I will only ever have 100 medals. I won't ever have less now that I've gotten them all. On here, my flower cactus, I will always have 57 medals. It will not use them when I use this attack in battle. Instead, what gets used in battle is going to be the charge. So I want to equip it, and you'll notice it says flower cactus 6 out of 6 times. Now, as I level up my flower cactus, as I get more medals, I'll be able to add skill usage plus 1 time. So eventually, it looks like I will have 8 total uses out of that. Now, some medals have rarity requirements. All of these right here, you see the gold border. That means they have, I believe gold border is super rare. Yes, so you have to have a super rare item. These all have gold borders. These first 3 in the consumable slot, you see they have the purplish silver border. That means they're going to require you to have a ultra rare weapon. And you'll also notice, and I think it's most obvious on these, that some of them have element requirements as well. So, as an example, this water garrison right here, you'll notice that the background on that is blue, and that means you'll have to have a water type weapon equipped in your first slot in order to be able to use it. You'll see that where the equip button normally would be, it says the weapon in the first slot is the incorrect attribute. That's because I don't have a water weapon there. Similarly, this has a red, brown, green, and blue background. That means it has to be fire, earth, wind, or water to equip it, not light or dark. This, though, has a light background. That means it has to be a light weapon. I also don't have any medals of it, so obviously I can't equip it. So when you equip your sixth sense, you have to fill in the 2 dark circles on the gauge below to get the minimum number of charges out of it. So if I just equip a bunch of different stuff, you'll see I don't have any slots there because I don't have a medal selected. I select a medal, and you'll see I have 1 circle in the gauge filled in, and it is filled in with a light seal or a light crest. That's because that bow I have in the first slot is a light element weapon. None of the other weapons I have in any of my weapon slots are a light weapon, so it's not going to fill in anymore. I can't use it at all. But if I change one of them to a light weapon, now I've got 2 charges, or 2 circles in the gauge filled in, and 5 charges total in battle. That means I can use this mantra and heal myself 5 times in battle, then I can't use it anymore. The order of your weapons does not necessarily matter except in terms of rarity. So as you can see, I have a light weapon in the first slot, and then my second light weapon that matches it and gives me my minimum number of uses is in the fourth slot. But if I have all of these filled in so that I can use all of the charges, you'll see that I can still only use it 7 out of 8 times. My gauge still isn't completely filled in. That's because your weapons have to match element, and then they have to be the same rarity or higher. So in this case, order will matter. The problem you're seeing right here is because this bow is super rare. My poor super rare Royal Skywing bow. Not as good as the others. But this guy is ultra rare, and all of the others are ultra rare. So the last 3 match, but that second one doesn't. But if I switch them, suddenly my gauge is completely filled. That's because it just has to be the same rarity or higher. In this case, obviously ultra rare being the highest rarity, they all work, and so my gauge is completely filled in. Now, because some of the medals are rarity dependent, let's see if I can find one. Doesn't look like I actually have any, so I will just find an example. If I had one of these first 3 consumable medals, I would have to have all slots filled in with an ultra rare weapon. Otherwise, I couldn't use it, or I at least would not max out the number of charges. Well, I hope that helps you understand how to use Sixth Sense.